Alrighty, and welcome back to yet another episode of the Comics Run the World podcast. As always, I'm your co-host Mateo. Like in every other episode, I am accompanied by
Frankie. How's it? How you been? What's been going on?
two major things right now: school and work.
Yeah,
Yeah, lately it's just been either going to school, then directly to work, or be at work and then go directly to school. So that's what I got going on. Got to propose the three questions. I already know
of
what you're
course.
playing. I already know what you're playing, but what are you watching, reading, and then obviously playing? What are those big three you're doing right now?
Reading through just like all of the War of Kings stuff in Marvel, and now I'm on the Guardians of the Galaxy run by DNA by Abnett and Lanning, and
Oh, okay.
that like follows right up on Annihilation Conquest, dude. So good.
Yeah.
It's actually incredible.
Oh man.
It's
Yeah,
I've only read the first two issues, but it's so
it's
good.
good.
Um, Then, I mean, I've been watching some Naruto here and there, but it's I've been busy with like work and stuff, but then also just,
Yeah.
reading a bunch of different kinds of comics, reading Berserk, reading the Marvel stuff, and then also I've been playing Zelda Twilight Princess and Helldivers 2.
Yeah.
Um Helldivers 2 is super fun. It really took me by surprise. I think it took everybody by surprise. It's been a lot of fun to play with friends.
Yeah, that's like everywhere on my Instagram
Yeah.
Reels page. Just Helldivers clips here and there.
But what about you?
So I just started this today during class. I started watching Love, Death, and Robots on Netflix.
Okay.
I watched two episodes in class today. One was pretty good, and one was really bad. one was terrible. But speaking of Naruto, I watched the first couple episodes. I kind of dropped off on it, but I do plan on getting back into it again. Just gonna restart the series and actually watch it. Probably do like an episode a day or something like that, just so I stay consistent on it.
There's no
Uh,
chance you do an episode a day. You're gonna get addicted. There's like they almost always end on cliffhangers, and if you get into it, you're gonna watch more.
right. um, reading. Yeah, I've just been reading Berserk. I think I just finished volume 15 of the regular trade paperback versions. And I started reading Death Note. I just finished volume 1 of the
Okay.
trade paperback of that. Pretty good. I like it a lot. I know there's, I think, 10 or 11 of the volumes, so I'm excited to see where that goes. Playing Fortnite as
Hell yeah.
always, but I did start playing this other game, Warhammer 40K Inquisitor Martyr.
Okay.
So it's basically kind of like Diablo 4, like any
Yeah.
of the Diablo games, but like Warhammer. And I'm liking it a lot so far, but there's like so many mechanics to the game, like armor, implants, staff. Because I'm like a wizard guy in that game. Sword. There's like a lot of things that I just don't really pay attention to. I just get the best one and keep playing. But it's really fun. I'm having a great time with it. But yeah, that's the big three.
At least from what I read, you would love the DNA Guardians of the Galaxy. It falls like
Yeah.
right up on Annihilation Conquest. Like they show you
Okay.
in the comic the day after,
Oh
like
shit.
they
Okay.
defeat the Phalanx and stuff.
Uh huh.
Haven't gotten far into it, but it's been amazing.
Yeah. I really want to binge read all that Marvel cosmic stuff during that era because that was like the pinnacle of the Marvel cosmic side of comics. Other than that era with the Infinity Gauntlet storyline,
The
I really want to
modern
read that.
Marvel Cosmic Saga it's honestly peak Marvel. It's
Yeah,
it's honestly peak Marvel.
that's
Annihilation,
what I hear
Annihilation
you.
Conquest, everything I'm reading now, it's peak Marvel.
Yeah, I don't know. I I think I think I'm falling a bit short on the Marvel DC Comics train right now because I'm either reading a manga or like an independent comic book. And for example, I finished reading the Twilight Man, which is basically the guy who does the Twilight Zone, Rod
Oh, okay.
Sterling. it's just like a biography on his life, and I read that a lot, and I really liked it. So I've been just kind of reading that and manga. So I haven't really picked up anything Marvel DC wise as of yet, but maybe soon. Maybe soon again.
That's fair. You would. Oh wait, yeah. I actually meant to tell you about this. There's a series by Walt Simonson called Ragnarok, and I think it's like very Norse mythology based.
Okay.
And we both like Norse mythology, so
Yeah.
it seems cool.
That
I
sounds
think
like vaguely familiar. I think but yeah, that does
I
sound
think it
really
was made
cool.
by IDW, but I think I'm gonna try and maybe buy it on Comixology and give it a try.
Yeah, that sounds cool. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just happy with my manga right now because ever since Berserk just kind of like opens the gateway to this whole new medium.
It's fair.
Speaking of Berserk, before we get into that, whole episode today is just Berserk volumes 1 through 13 of the regular trade paperbacks. Basically, where it starts up until the eclipse and then a little afterwards. Heavily advise if you haven't read it, don't listen to this because trust me, this
True.
is
We
probably
are gonna be
one of the
spoiling.
yeah, we are gonna be spoiling, and I don't want anyone to be surprised of any spoilers. You guys gotta read this
Should
because
we
it's
should we give a quick non-spoiler review? A
oh
quick
yeah,
little.
I
Okay.
got I can condense mine in one sentence. Well, fragments of several sentences. I was doing a list. I was doing a
Okay.
list.
Okay.
It's peak. It is probably one of the best things I've ever read. It has. It's not for everyone. If you're squeamish or anything like that, it's not for everyone.
True. True. If you
It's
don't like
not for
violence, don't read it.
if you don't like. Oh my god! If you don't like violence and everything that's
That's horrible.
horrible, minus swearing and drug use, then just stay away because there's like
they
there's barely any swearing. They said
there
they
is
like
swearing though.
is there?
I mean, I think at least they say bitch.
Yeah,
I know they say bitch. I mean, they don't say the F word. Um,
they say shit like a couple of times.
yeah. I think
Very like very
yeah.
scarcely. And there's no drug use, but everything else
It's
there
there.
is, and no short supply, and no short supply. So
My recommendation, if you haven't read it, you want a quick no spoiler review. It's not that it's bad, but if for any reason you're not like enjoying the first arc, the Black Swordsman arc, because I don't know, I'll get to it in a bit, but if you're not enjoying it, just keep reading and get
yeah,
to the Golden Age arc, and like there's no way you won't like it. There's literally no way.
yeah,
You're
yeah,
going to enjoy it.
yeah.
So,
The whole Black Swordsman arc, I think it's only in the first 3 volumes, and then it cuts to the Golden Age.
yeah, it's pretty
That
quick.
whole arc, yeah. So, it's great. It's my favorite run of all time is JSA by Jeff Johns, and I think this easily surpasses that. So this
Yeah,
is definitely one of the best things I've ever read.
I've said a lot of times Ultimate Spider-Man can't be topped, but I don't know. I'm just saying it's in I don't know.
It's
It
great.
we haven't read, we've only read volumes 1 through 13, but
Yeah,
also this is the first manga either of us have ever read.
that is true.
So I think that's an interesting thing to know going into our review. We have literally never read or reviewed any other manga.
Yeah.
I got really angry with it in the begining.
Oh yeah, I remember. I remember. Yeah.
Reading right to left in no color was like it made me want to pull out my hair, but I don't know. Once I started getting into the story, I almost just stopped even noticing it.
Right.
And
Yeah.
if you're coming from like Western comics, it will be a transition. It's just very different, but it's not bad. Once you get into the flow of it, you don't even notice.
Yeah, that's true. And I think at least in the terms for comicsology and just Berserk in like the back of the book, it shows you that how to read it. Like it's just like you said, right to left. So it shows you how to read it. It is kind of a task to do, but once you kind of read it, because I got used to it after the first 2 volumes.
Same, yeah. It took me probably like a volume or
Yeah.
two, and then I was like, oh,
Yeah,
got it.
and then like after that, it's just like a flow of just like you reading it, and it's a flow because it's just storytelling that gets better and better and better and better and better.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of people say not to recommend this as your first manga because if you read this as your first manga, nothing else will pay on comparison to the greatness that this is so far. So take that as you will.
That's fine. That's fine with me.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it starts with the Black Swordsman arc.
Yeah.
I don't have like too much to say about this arc in particular besides like my initial thoughts when I first started reading it, which like I said, I got a little annoyed at first, but besides that,
Yeah.
I mean, I was just in awe of the artwork. Like
Yeah.
that had me from just like the first couple pages onward. Like I was just I don't know. I used to look down upon black and white artwork, and this made me realize like
Yeah.
it's almost its own art form. Like
Yeah.
it's better without color because you're able to see like the finer details in his artistry, and it's just like jaw dropping. It's amazing.
Yeah, I just think it's funny how you said just like in the first couple pages like the artwork's just like really great because in the first like page or two it's just guts in that demon.
Yeah, that's yeah.
So
That
that
actually, from all of these volumes, from everything I've read, I only have one problem with Berserk, and it's those first two pages, or like the first couple pages,
yeah.
because I just feel like it's a weird opening that is just kind of like edgy for the sake of being edgy.
Right.
Like, and then it just cuts to Guts walking mysteriously. I feel like that would have been a better opening. Once you learn about like who Guts is as a character, like what he's been through with, the rape, and then
Yeah.
you see him with Casca, like it really feels out of character in my opinion that he's doing that.
Right.
And but that's such like a minor gripe, just as like first two pages.
Right.
I just think is like an odd opening for the manga, but besides that, I can't come up with one single complaint besides that.
That is true. There are things in the first three volumes um that tie into the events either during the Golden Age arc, during the eclipse, and then the stuff after the eclipse. Like that little uh, demon thing that follows Guts around the Count's castle in the first two volumes.
Oh, I didn't even put
Yeah,
that together. Wait,
yeah,
I
yeah, yeah,
didn't even
yeah,
put that together till just now. Oh,
yeah,
that's his demon baby with Casca.
yeah,
Oh my
yeah,
god. Okay.
yeah. I didn't notice it either at first until like I looked at what people were talking about the volume, and people saying, "Was that is that their like child that Griffith corrupted?" And they're like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Oh, that's the thing we saw in the first three
Yeah.
volumes." Those type of things that I really like in storytelling in general, where like it starts off with current and it shows like the past, and then comes back to the current, and how like see
Mhm.
how the things that you really didn't understand at first tie in together. You understand what they are.
That was like it's not really an issue, but like you do feel a bit lost, but in a
Yeah,
good way. But that's why I say if you're a new reader, just keep reading.
yeah,
Trust me, it's worth it. Um, you might be a little lost, like, but you're not only supposed to be, but like just enjoy everything else that's amazing about it, like the action, the characters,
yeah,
I mean, like in just at least this arc, I was just drawn in by just the world. I think the world
yeah,
building in Berserk is some of the best I've ever seen in
yeah,
anything. Um,
yeah.
yeah, it's so good. As far as the story goes, my favorite part of the Black Swordsman arc was just everything with the Count and his daughter,
Yeah, yeah,
and kind of the
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That was just like like a really strange ordeal,
yeah,
especially with like just like the how the count looks. It's just like
yeah,
so off-putting. It makes me uncomfortable. It
yeah,
makes me uncomfortable, but that's part of like what it is, and we can see that what Guts is doing, he's like hunting down these apostles of, I think, the God Hand, right? The apostles of the God Hand or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not even fully clear at this point, but yeah, they're
Yeah,
like just like demonic forces that are from the God Hand, like they're, subordinates. Yeah, basically. But yeah, I mean, like overall thoughts for me on just the Black Swordsman arc is just the world building, the art, and the mysteriousness of it does make you want to keep reading. But I could
yeah,
see how it could like put new readers off. But I was just nonstop reading because I was just obsessed with just like Guts as a character. He's mysterious, like you want to learn more about him, and just the world that was just put in front of me. I was just addicted to reading it. And then the next arc, it's a long arc,
it
but
is pretty long. Yeah,
it's a banger.
it is a banger, and we start off this new arc as the Golden Age arc. Now with seeing how literally Guts from the beginning of his life, almost getting trampled over by the band of bandits, mercenaries, whatever. And then I think a lady comes over and picks him up from the ground because his mom was like hanging from the tree or whatever.
Yeah, I mean
it's pretty
it's
morbid.
it's awful. It's
It is pretty
terrible,
awful. Yeah,
and his life just doesn't get better.
yeah.
I
His life
mean,
sucks. His life really sucks.
just like watching him grow up, he's like a mercenary from literally day one.
Yeah,
His relationship with Gambino is, I mean, just really sad. Like just really
yeah,
sad because you can tell Guts wants to, he like looks up to him in a way, but it was crazy to me because like there's some like just random points where Gambino almost seems like he's like being a good father figure,
right.
and then will just be the complete worst person ever.
Yeah,
So like it almost felt like I was Guts, where I was like he's getting tricked by him, or like at some points he does seem like he genuinely does care about Guts, and like maybe in his weird twisted way he does, but
right.
obviously at
Yeah.
the end it doesn't. Yeah,
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does not work out. Yeah, just to expand on that, you do see like some shimmering essence of Gambino being a kind of a good person, but like he's just like very like hard and rough with Guts. When they're training or when they're just like off the battlefield, especially after his injuries that he
yeah, that's when
sustained in
things
battle.
really turn south.
Yeah, and I think the main thing is the catalyst of that whole relationship going askew was with Gambino paying Donovan, or Donovan paying Gambino for Guts for the night, which is
Yeah.
not not a good thing.
Yeah, I mean that's why I'm not defending Gambino. I
No,
mean
yeah, yeah,
he's like bad. I mean,
yeah,
but it just was interesting how in some points in the story it did feel like, oh
yeah,
wait, is Gambino like actually? And like I said, maybe he was in his own twisted way, but
hmm
uh, I think that just kind of exemplifies how Guts was feeling.
yeah,
Once he becomes like a band of the member of the band of the Hawks, like the way the character progression, like and the story moves, just feels just perfectly paced. Like
yeah,
it is very drawn out, like it's a lot of reading, but it doesn't feel either rushed or too slow. Like feels very natural, like him slowly opening up, and like just his relationship with all the different characters, because there's a lot of different characters, but they're all, I mean, great in their own way. It starts to feel, I don't know, maybe people won't like this comparison, but I felt like this arc felt a little Game of Thronesy to me, where like Griffith is just very focused on like ranking up in the world in a
yeah.
sense, like
Pursuing his dream.
yeah, and like once that they get recognized by the kingdom, it starts to feel like there's the bald guy that's plotting against him,
hmm
which felt like the bald guy in Game of Thrones to me. I forget both of their names, but they're like the queen is like plotting against Griffith, and the
Yeah,
Griffith is plotting against queen, and I love that. And then you see like Griffith staring him down from like the end
yeah,
of the hallway. Um I mean, it was better than Game of Thrones, but it's just like it gave me those vibes at
Yeah,
least where like everyone's kind of plotting against each other. The
that's
higher
true.
ups didn't want the Band of the Hawks in
Yeah,
there like they were, so yeah.
yeah, that's very true. And I guess from like the begin, their Guts' beginning as a Hawk, um, you you do really see both their relationship becoming stronger ever so slowly, but you also do see the small cues of
Hmm.
there's something off with Griffith in a sense, and I feel like those seeds have been planted from the beginning, the middle part of the Golden Age arc, very meticulously and very well, like spaced out and like really well done. Like you said, with but the whole thing with the Queen and just like the Band of the Hawks not being welcomed by the majority of the people in the castle because they're common born and
Yeah.
they're it's something that's never happened before because it's something that no one really thought would ever happen, that just normal Commonwealth people will ascend this high in like the
Yeah.
royal chain or whatever.
Maybe this is a hot take, but I
Oh,
was I mean, like you said, you see the cues, of him like doing, staring down the people, and people always talk about the look in Griffith's eye, but I didn't really. Maybe I'm forgetting something, but until Guts leaves, because that's when he like gets into the bedroom with the princess. Until Guts leaves, I didn't really have a problem with anything Griffith did,
yeah,
because I mean, yeah, like they're all following his dream, but like they just felt like this band of people who
yeah,
were like perfect for each other, and he's their leader, and he's helping them ascend the ranks, and I mean, almost the right way. Like
yeah,
he is scheming for
yeah.
sure,
He
but
is, yeah.
until he does that move where he like breaks in to the princess's chambers or whatever, um it's kind of on Griffith's side. I was like, I
Yeah,
can see why everyone admires him.
yeah,
Um Now, I'm not on Griffith's side after that. I'm not
yeah,
on his side after that.
yeah,
But um I mean, to continue talking about being on Griffith's side though, um once they like after all that happens, Griffith is basically tortured in the basement for I think maybe 2 years or something.
I think a year, yeah,
Once they capture, or not they capture him, once they rescue him, um and they're carrying him around, I knew what he was going to become, but I
yeah,
genuinely felt really, really, really bad for him. Like
right,
he's sitting there frail, he can't speak because they like cut out his tongue or whatever, and he just looks like this sad, and I was like, oh, like,
yeah,
I mean, I didn't. Now I don't feel bad.
right,
like,
yeah, yeah, yeah. Fuck him.
like, yeah, yeah, fuck that guy. But damn, I remember reading at that point in time.
Yeah,
I was like, damn, I feel so bad for him because at that point you've read so much and seen so much of his character with Guts and with Casca, and like I remember feeling very strongly about that
yeah,
at that
yeah,
time. I don't know
yeah,
if you
and
felt that way.
no, I did feel that way, and because you knew he was gonna do something bad,
Bad.
you knew he was gonna do something bad, but even with that in mind, all the events that happened with Guts leaving and that basically breaking Griffith, and then him leading to sleep with the princess. The king gets pissed, sends him to be tortured with no limits for a year. I mean, like the thing, like I mean, I know that they what was it? They said they cut his ligaments, his tendons, so
Yeah,
he
dude, with
couldn't.
that creepy guy down there,
Yeah,
he
he
oh my
yeah
god.
he cut out his tongue. They skinned him in parts, and like they didn't even show his face because it's just like how horrific it was from from who was it Griffith and Judo's like point of view. They're like, oh god, like what did they do to his face? So that whole thing, and I think the person who like really took it the hardest, obviously Guts felt really bad and was like super pissed, but also Casca, because earlier in the series it shows like her backstory and how she joined the band of the Hawks, and you really see and understand like why she's so devoted to Griffith and how she wants to be with Griffith, but it's not part of Griffith's plan, and that's something that she comes to realize later on. And just like her connection with the leader of the Band of the Hawks is so strong, and like she would just do anything for him to
Yeah.
achieve his dream, as long as she's like by his side. And then this whole thing happens with him getting like, Guts leaving. Everyone didn't want Guts to leave, but you kind of understand why Guts left, because he doesn't want to be the side character in someone else's dream. He wants to find his own dream and purpose, because it's been said time and time again with his characters, all he knows to do is swing a sword. So he goes on to see like what's his purpose, and that leads to Griffith's downfall. And
yeah, it's really Guts leaving that.
Yeah.
I mean, again, you can't blame Guts leaving on what Griffith does.
Yeah,
but
you
like that
really
is the
can't.
catalyst. That is the catalyst for everything going to shit.
Yeah, you see it because Griffith's just like in shock, because when they're supposed to duel, and then Guts just cuts Griffith's sword in half, and Griffith's just in shock, and he just walks away.
And it's crazy because like in a way, Griffith is the catalyst for Guts leaving, because he's like, I have to live my own dream. I can't be following someone else's. Which I do want to say, my favorite part of all of this was the chapter. What's it called? Where it's like, it's Guts and Casca.
Oh, I know what you're talking
hanging
about.
out by this tree overlooking. It's called Campfire of Dreams, I think.
Yeah.
I think that's what it's called.
Yeah, that's
but
also
if
my
you've
favorite
read it,
one.
you know. And damn, dude, like I like kind of just sat there and like I was like, damn.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, exactly. I'm just like, oh shit, okay, yeah, it's getting good.
He's spitting. Guts is spitting.
Yeah, he's spitting.
And I love how Casca at that point is like, this isn't you. Like this isn't usually how you act. Like saying this like deep, like, talking about like, like living your own life. And he's talking about the guy that like wants to make his own clothing store or whatever it is. And like,
oh my God. Yeah.
And it just shows you like who Guts really is. Like, he puts on this front, but that's, I feel like the first real look into like, damn, Guts he's a genuine dude. Like,
yeah, he is. I mean, do you understand why he's the way he is? Because his life has just been.
Oh yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, deep down inside, he's just a guy.
Yeah.
And even with all this happening, there are one Band of the Hawks member, Corcus, who just hates him. he hates him because I feel like it's just because just how he acts. Corcus just doesn't like him because of how brutish he is, or how like I don't know. I feel like Corcus has like the wrong mindset of how to interpret Guts. I feel like it's out of jealousy.
Yeah, but I really liked Corcus's like speech he gives to Guts, because I feel like, I mean, if Guts was to leave, like I'm sure a lot of the Band of the Hawk felt like that, and it doesn't make Corcus right, but you can see like Guts as he's listening, like he can kind of see where he's coming from. Like, yeah, like Guts, I don't think Guts is wrong for leaving, but leaving the people that rely on you like that, you can kind of see where he's coming from, although he's being an asshole.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think Guts' relationship with the Band of the Hawks really went into full gear when they faced off Nosferatu Zod for the first time. I feel like that's where they really like saw Guts as like not like a burden anymore, but like a super valuable asset, because they were about to lose to this huge monster guy, and the guy was like, not yet. And he just flies away.
I love the moments. I don't remember when exactly they are, but like whenever they like go on a mission and they come back and everyone's like Guts, and they're like high fiving them, whatever, and you're like it's good to see like Guts, like you can tell he's kind of,
hopefully this lasts.
Over time he starts to grow into it a bit more. At first he's kind of like they're all eating and drinking and he's sitting up top, like, and then but he grows into it and they become like a family to him, and then they're all murdered. but
Yeah, in the most horrific way possible.
uh, but yeah, I mean, I guess we can talk about like that part now, the
Yeah,
eclipse. I was ahead of
the
you, so I knew when we
yeah
recorded our last episode. I had read it, you hadn't. So
yeah. Let me pull up the review I put out for that specific volume. This is the review I posted on League of Comic Geeks. I have no words, no review. Just know that this is the absolute horrific experience for both the characters and the reader in the most masterful way possible. Damn.
it's a big damn.
It is. I thought it was gonna happen one way, but the way it panned out, so much worse. So much worse.
One thing I'll say about it is I thought the way I'm always afraid to pronounce his name because I don't want to mispronounce it. But the writer writes the God Hand into influencing Griffith to like
Yeah.
make the transformation I thought was really compelling, where they're like you've and Griffith has talked about it, where like he's used bodies to basically
Right.
almost like get him to where he needs to go. Like they're like, you've done this your whole life, like you've trampled upon like dead bodies to get to where you need to go, of like the people, your people. Like why not do it again, or why not like, keep going on that path? And I thought like, I mean, it's twisted,
Yeah.
like, but I just thought that was really compelling and
Mm-hmm.
really good storytelling, because that's what he would like. I think he's a bit hesitant. Like he's
Mm-hmm.
hesitant at first, but they tell him all that, and he's like, yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I think even before everything happened, we see like flashbacks and like hallucinations that Griffith has. Because keep in mind, he's still this very frail,
mm-hmm,
weak person. So I guess that also plays into him accepting the role, because this is not who he is. He wants to fight, and he will do that no matter
true,
what.
yeah, true,
And we see, and that is like further exemplified by seeing like him as a kid, and like how that passion of his dream stemmed from him as a kid. So that's like very powerful fuel to pursue your ambitions, no matter who you sacrifice.
yeah. Like they tell him, like they're like, you knew this was the path, like killing the people you love dying, like, so like here
Yeah,
you are, like make the choice, like are you gonna continue on that path? And yeah,
yeah,
I mean, it's beautifully drawn, just but it's tough. It's
it's
tough.
horrific. Like the demons, the landscape of everything with like the faces on the ground and in the sky, the giant monolithic hand made out of like
Yeah.
demons and like souls and bodies and stuff like that.
Damn, the art is so damn good.
I think this is like the peak of what the art is at
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
I mean, the amount
It's,
of detail is insane,
yeah.
and it's just, I hate thinking about it.
I
Oh,
I mean, when like they were all getting killed, I mean, like it sucked because like you've grown with these characters, you've been like
yeah,
just following these characters for so long, so that sucked, like
yeah,
for sure. But and it's like I kind of saw it coming, not like mostly. I
yeah,
mostly knew like in one way or another these guys were fucked. Like if,
yeah. They're cooked. Yeah.
but when it really hit me was, I mean, the Casca scene is just, I
Oh
mean,
my
it's like
god.
it's fucking bad, dude. Like
It's yeah, yeah.
I
It's
was
pretty
reading it and
bad.
literally like kind of sat back and I went, fuck. I was like
Yeah,
damn. Like
yeah, yeah,
I mean, damn.
yeah. Oh man, I think obviously the Costco thing was the worst one, but I love and I hate how just shortly prior to all this happening, specifically when Guts was about to leave, when he came back, when they were rescuing Griffith, how Judo kind of like rises up as a character in his own ways
Yeah.
because he knows everything. He knows all the rumors. He knows all like the skill, like the tactics and stuff like that. Like the Bucky, was it the Bucky Raka? That group of people were trying to kill uh, the Band of the Hawks, freeing Griffith. He kind of like saves him because he had like he had a trick or whatever. So he was like very resourceful in that way, and he was really witty and funny, and like, he helped. He's kind of like the wingman for Guts and Casca, and just him
I
trying to
think he gives Guts some of like his best advice.
yeah,
Like the best, some of the best advice Guts gets is from him.
exactly, and just him trying to save Casca, and then ultimately just dying was hit me pretty hard. Pippin dying,
Yeah.
Corcus oh man, the guy who wanted to open his own shop dying.
Yeah, that dude.
Oh
I
man.
I could have misinterpreted it, but I thought in a way Judo kind of at the end told Casca like confessed his feelings for Casca. I don't know. I could be wrong on that, but I kind of in his parting words to Casca, I kind of saw that,
Yeah.
but I could be wrong. But yeah, I mean, when it really hit me was the Casca scene. I was like, oh my god, this is fucked. This is just
And it
genuinely.
happened for so long.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, okay.
Yeah, stop.
It's like, oh my god. And like Guts running towards her, getting his arm getting clamped down, him like cutting off his own arm, him
Yes.
getting pinned
Yeah.
down and like forced to look what was gonna happen. And just the entire time, just Griffith is looking directly at him, doing all that stuff to Casca. I was like,
that's the part that made me be like, okay, like fuck this dude. Like,
yeah,
because
yeah.
killing the people, you could say he had to do. I mean, like obviously it's fucked, but like that part was optional.
Yeah.
I mean, at least it just made it seem like he had to, you know, kind of kill all those people, make them sacrifices. That part,
my god. Yeah. A big
like,
fuck you to Griffin.
It's, I don't know, from beginning to end, it's just like maybe the best story I've ever read.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and
it's not the end.
It is not. I think we're just like we're only like a fourth. We're a fourth of the way through the series. We still have like 30 more volumes. I'm like, what the hell's gonna happen now?
Yeah, we got a lot left.
And it just feels so. I don't know. It just feels so different because like it's like exactly what you said. We grew up. We grew with these characters through these 13 volumes, and then now they're dead, and they get ripped apart. They get eaten. I think one of the most disturbing one is Corcus when he dies because he was like going on an absolute like manic episode, saying like he's trying to convince us this is not real.
Yeah,
he was out of his mind, freaking out, and then like
the whole thing happens like instantaneously.
Yeah,
like they're just like transported immediately to hell, essentially, and they're all like, "What is going on?" And
oh my god, it's just...
I'm excited to see where it goes from here.
Yeah,
I mean, I've read a little bit. I've read a little bit past it. We're gonna review all of it, all Berserk.
Yeah.
But not too much into the future. But final thoughts. Just overall, you know.
I know they're still working on the series, even though the creator passed away. I think people like very close to the creator are finishing the series because it's still unfinished. So
yeah,
I am excited to see what the next 30 volumes consist of. Because that's something I keep forgetting because like I think there's 14 of the deluxe editions, 13 or 14 of the deluxe editions. So I'm
14 are out, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, oh shit, we still have a lot to go to. And I'm just like, what's gonna happen? So like I'm very sad. Because oh man, especially when I read it at night, and I was like, oh man.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, but I just want to see like what happens and like what's next for Guts and Casca.
I mean, there's like a lot we didn't go into every single detail. Like there's parts I loved, like there's a lot of like battle scenes that are really great where Guts just has badass moments. You know,
Yeah.
he's just like taking on a whole army.
Oh yeah, he fights off 100 men.
Yeah,
That
like
was badass.
there's plenty and plenty and plenty of moments we could talk about and be here
Yeah.
for hours.
Yeah.
But I mean, my final thoughts are just like it's pretty much perfect. It's got
Hmm.
the I guess my highest compliment would be the art and the pacing. I think are
Yeah.
the two best things in my opinion.
Yeah. Definitely. My parting words is fuck Griffith.
I mean, yeah.
Fuck
I
Griffith.
talked about feeling bad for him, but fuck that dude
Yeah,
for sure.
no. I felt very bad for him, especially when we first see him in the state he's in. And now, nah.
I know that's what's crazy. Like you look back on how you felt at that time, and like,
That's great storytelling right there.
yeah.
It's really really good.
And
And
when at that time you know he's going to become something bad because you see
yeah,
it in that Black Swordsman arc, but you don't know exactly what. Um,
yeah, man. I just want Guts to decimate Griffith.
yeah, I can't wait for us to keep reading and
Yeah,
reviewing it for
it's gonna
sure.
be it's gonna be exciting. But I mean, I this is easily, at least for me, if I were to rate it, 5 out of 5.
Oh yeah,
Six out of
six
five.
stars, six stars.
Six
Yeah,
stars out of 5. It's great. I would understand why people wouldn't want to read this first because it's so good, and it's not. And then after you read the entire thing, and once like the story's finished, nothing's gonna
it.
pale in comparison.
I don't think it's a reason not to recommend it as somebody's first manga, but it can get a little confusing at times for
It
sure.
does, yeah.
But you'll get the hang of it, and it's like it's worth reading even if you're like slightly confused because you'll either figure it out or, you know, at the end of the day, if you just Google it. Like
Yeah.
there's I tell people that with video games, like, oh, I want to find it on my own. It's like just fucking just Google it. Like
Yeah.
if you, it's not worth being like, you know, super confused about.
Yeah.
But you'll figure it out as you go.
Yeah. And I think like the final thing I'll say, like it's not one of those type of things where it's like it gets good after the first so and so amount of volumes or chapters or whatever. Even though you might be confused, it's still very very good. And
Oh yeah.
once you get the answers, it elevates all the things that you thought originally, and then I understand like the full scale of everything. It's just like it makes it that much better. So
Yeah,
Berserk.
I definitely wasn't like I wasn't saying that Black Swordsman art was bad. I mean,
Yeah.
I'd give it a 5 out of 5. Like it's incredible. I was just saying I could see a new reader kind of being a little confused. Like, you know, if you're a fan of comics and you've never read manga, read Berserk.
Yeah.
You'll like it.
You will like it. And whoever says no,
Don't listen.
fuck them.
Yeah. Do not listen.
Yeah. But yeah, that was our Berserk episode. So volumes 1 through 13 of the trade paperbacks. I feel like it won't be long until we review the next couple
Yeah.
volumes, because for me, I'm just like going volume after volume after volume after chapter after chapter after chapter. It's just like it's really good. It's something. It's like crack. You can't. It's addicting.
You can't stop reading. Yeah.
Exactly.
Once we'll probably review them in like arcs or something.
Yeah.
I mean, we were originally gonna just do the Black Swordsman arc, but we couldn't stop reading. We had to read it all.
Yeah.
So,
I had no restraint. I just went.
Nobody was stopping.
Yeah.
But we'll eventually get to the other arcs, review those whenever we get to them. I think it's just gonna be something you and I both just read whenever we got time.
Yeah.
And
so good. So good.
Join us on our Berserk journey.
Join us on our Berserk journey. And if you do dare to venture into your own Berserk journey, let us know how you're liking it on our social media pages, Comics RTW at Twitter, Instagram, Threads, and TikTok.
Yeah.
Do we have anything else for today? Anything else for today's episode?
our next episode, we'll have another guest. So be prepared. It's going to be awesome.
Yes, this guy is awesome. I've known him for a bit. Never really talked to him, but I knew of him for a bit, and he's a cool guy. I'm excited for that episode. I'm excited. Anything you want to say before we close out this episode?
I don't think so. Keep reading comics or manga,
Yeah. Keep reading comics or manga. Do whatever the hell you want.
Yeah.
That's the beauty
or
of
don't.
everything. Yeah. Or just don't. Just do nothing. It's all up to you. It's all your choice. Follow your dream.
Yeah. Exactly. That's
Follow
a good
your
part
dreams and your ambitions, as long as they're not Griffiths.
Wait, yeah. Actually, maybe don't. I don't know.
Just weigh the options. Use your better judgment. But yeah, make sure to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and on Threads. I am active on all of those, mainly Threads, because Threads has just been blown up lately. It's been great. I love the whole redemption arc with Threads. It's great. But yeah, follow us on there. You guys want? Join our Discord server. Links could be in the bio of our TikTok and our Instagram. So if you want to join, talk comics, talk manga, talk video games, talk whatever, make sure you join. And we have lively discussions almost every day, so it's really fun. And yeah, follow us on there. Make sure to check out our next episode so we have our guests. I'm excited. It's gonna be a really fun episode. With that being said, keep reading manga and comics and follow your dreams.